Welcome back to another Wasted Wednesday. I'm Stevie.
And I'm Chip. We just took a shot.
So let's get started. As you can see, we're dressed up a little more fancy than usual because we are
so psyched.
So excited for our topic, which you probably already saw if you see the title or just clicked on this video. We're talking about Percy Jackson.
Yes.
Because they just announced Disney Plus is creating their TV series about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're very excited.
Yes, we are so stoked. Before we get started, I wanted to quickly apologize. If you hear that little whirring, it is a fan. Our apartment is so hot.
It is, oh my god, unbearably hot.
It's kind of ridiculous.
We refuse to turn our AC on.
And can you feel that still, the fan?
Wait,
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was like, I can't really feel it.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. So we have a little fan going, so if you're watching this and you see little beads of sweat, let us live, okay?
It's hot. We don't want to turn our AC on.
We can't. It's too much money.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And we're in old-ass apartments with single-pane windows.
The heat just stays in.
It's in here.
Yeah.
We're not happy about it, but we're not turning on the air because we're not paying that
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fans in the living room.
in here. They're not all on.
No, not all on.
Be a lot of noise.
But typically, fan situation, it's fine.
Yes.
But if you hear a little whirring sound.
So sorry about that. Also ignore the sweat. Let's just pretend it's highlight.
Yeah.
Just pretend.
And so let's dive into it. So first, Percy Jackson.
So if you didn't already know, we wanted to make a video. We were planning on it.
I think we might have mentioned, at least, I think in one of our past videos we just might have mentioned Percy Jackson for a second, but we stopped ourselves because we knew this would be a whole thing just dedicated to it, which is where we have arrived. A little sooner than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I was expecting this to, or at least this episode to, come along further down the road, but I mean the timing is just...
It's perfect.
It's hot topic right now.
And we're trying to keep this from being an hour,
we have
3 hours
We have time points that we're
so hard to meet it.
Because we know we have talked about this for hours.
And we're just huge fanatics. I will never stop being in love with this series, everything Rick... Now, I used to say his last name differently. She said it differently, but we literally, right before this video, looked it up. So we might say his name.
I think there's a split between how everyone says it.
So I was saying Reardon.
You're saying Reardon, I'm saying Riordan. I think that's pretty much the split. People either say Riordan or Reardon.
Yeah.
We figured out it was... I forgot.
I already forgot.
Let's just go with...
We, watched a video of him exactly saying
it.
Rick. Uncle Rick.
Just Rick for, casual
Uncle
viewing.
Rick for the fans. That's what they call him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Okay, cool.
I've called him that.
I was testing your knowledge. I was like, oh, are you real?
Are you
really, really into this?
But yes,
Uncle Rick.
The answer is yes.
So we'll call him Uncle Rick.
She has a whole tattoo.
I have
a Percy Jackson tattoo.
So for those who are listening,
if you're watching, we can put in a little video.
I guess
or a picture.
I'll stand up. But for those of you, I don't know if you could actually see that. Maybe I will clip in a picture. But those listening, on my knee is actually Percy holding up the sky. It is a scene from. Well, is that a spoiler?
Well, we've already said it.
Well. At some point in one of my favorite books, Percy is holding up the sky.
He holds up the sky. It's based off the one of the myths of Atlas holding the sky up. So it's not Greek mythology spoiler. You didn't read the myth.
Here we are.
Right.
So I'm a huge fanatic clearly because I got this big ass tattoo on my knee. Sorry, real quick. I never figured out who actually made the art. I found it online. It was so hard to find. If anybody knows who the actual artist is, because it's been reposted and regenerated so many times you can't find them. If you know, I just want to send them a message and tell them thank you because it's so beautiful. And then this on my knee is beautiful. And that's a whole story, but we could talk about that one later.
I just want to say real quick, we are going to try our absolute best not to give any spoilers. I'm sure I'm assuming most people out there have already read the books, but if you haven't, we're going to try and not give any spoilers just because it's, in case you haven't figured out, it's one of our favorite series.
Of all time.
And it's just reading, definitely. Yeah,
all
same.
time.
Same.
God tier. Same.
Actually, no, it's my favorite series. No kidding.
God tier.
Absolute God tier. So I don't want to give any spoilers out to anyone who's maybe just hearing about Percy Jackson and wanting to read the books for the first time. So we're going to try and limit that. I think when we've talked about this beforehand, I think at least the key points that we want to hit is pretty spoiler free.
Yeah.
So we'll try our best.
Yeah.
No promises,
and for anybody who is starting to read the books for the first time, welcome to the community. That we're literally discussing the biggest discourse.
Yeah.
Like, among this whole fandom.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into it. Trying to stay on time.
Yes.
Why is this book series so important to us and to so many people out there?
Right? And why are we adults who still love this YA?
I just stayed up till 5 a.m. last night rereading it. I mean, I finished it, so that was something. But yeah, as like just growing up and like still having that, like what's considered like children, or like I guess more YA, but like maybe like children's like YA, why as an adult it can still like hold against time and like still be considered an amazing piece of literature.
Yeah. Well, for me, I love YA books. I will never be ashamed that for a little bit, like when I started to get into high school and I was like still reading everything Uncle Rick put out, which I forever will. I have almost everything a part of that universe that he's ever written. I like literally at the beginning of a lot of books, it has like a list of all of them.
Yeah.
I've
check
checked
that off.
literally, and it's always on my Christmas list. Like I want the full collection. Because I love it so much. And I honestly think, like, if you like reading YA books and you're an adult, and air quotes over adult, then, like, read it, love it. Like, if that's what you want. I think it's weird that certain things, there's, like, age restrictions.
Yeah.
Like, we watch cartoons that are made for kids.
Yeah.
Air quotes
I don't know why like you're saying, there's that, like, age restriction. Plus, for, like, a lot of people, I'm just a quick reader. I enjoy reading, so I've never faced any limitations across, like, certain, like, you know, whether a book is, like, too advanced or harder to read. I personally have never faced that. I just enjoy reading. But to people who, like, maybe, you know, have a harder time reading or are a little more dyslexic, like it's talked about in Percy Jackson, but like if you do face those struggles, these books are absolutely amazing, and they're like it's perfect because as a writer, Rick takes that into consideration when he's creating like these entire stories. It's for people to be able to, it's easily accessible.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, like, I love YA because I don't like a lot of adult novels, and the reason why I like YA so much is there's so much imagery in it, and I feel like it's a lot easier to follow along.
I feel like it also gives you that fantasy aspect without over-sexualization. Like, a lot of stuff would be like, okay, monsters, but then also, like,
there's
let's go,
weird plot.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing.
And I'm not always reading for that.
Same. I love fantasy worlds, and I love the whole like mythology that goes into it.
And a lot of times they're a lot more intricate than adult books are.
Yeah.
Like adult whatever.
I mean, just read what you want. Like,
read what you want, and I think that's the conclusion. I mean, and what I liked is, well, along with TikTok came a lot of people kind of coming out of the woodwork, and there was a lot of Percy Jackson related content, and it was funny to see people around our age or older than us like making this, and now with the adaptation,
before they announced that this was going to be made into a TV series, I mean, half my TikTok page was people making like Percy Jackson jokes, like Heroes of Olympus jokes, like mentioning these characters and like these mythologies, and I'm like, wow, like we're still out here. Yeah,
and I like that it's still people like our age or older who are like just as into it. I like seeing younger kids getting into it.
It's great. And so as for why we love the story itself.
Yeah, there you go.
So when I first read it, I want to say
origin story.
I think I first read it in 5th grade because I was still in elementary school. Because I remember sitting in like the library, and like I just remember it being there. And I remember sitting down, and even that first line. I mean, I'm gonna say it because it's like it's iconic.
The best line. It's so iconic.
He's like, if you're reading this and you think like because you think you're like can relate to it, put this book down, and immediately you're like, what?
Yeah, and you feel so like
it brings you in.
You're engaged, and it's like you're part of this.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and also like as a kid with like ADHD, it was like reading it, I was like, wow, that's me. And then just seeing like the things that as Percy like, you know, narrates it and goes through it, I'm trying really hard not to like spoil it because I want people to have that proper experience.
Yeah.
But just seeing the stories that were reflected in Percy Jackson and the experiences and the diversity, and just being able to see, like, as a kid, like, as a child, being able to see yourself reflected in this amazing novel that completely just captivates you and, like, brings you in and, like, takes you on this journey with them. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I kind of was into Greek mythology before that, but then that I was like, Greek. I was like, I mean, I have a fucking Medusa tattoo.
Yeah.
Like, clearly.
Okay, flex real quick. For those listening to us, you definitely need to look on YouTube and see how cool this tattoo is.
I fucking love it.
It's so amazing.
I think this is probably my favorite one. My favorite tattoo.
It's amazing.
It was between like that one and that one,
beautiful.
but this one I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, clearly I was a Greek mythology kid. Okay, clearly we were. If you're a Percy Jackson kid, you are a Greek mythology kid. You can't fight it. That's just tea. That's just facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, just something about it just really just.
Yeah.
It just brings you in, and as a kid, it's very easy to read. Like, this, it's not a complex storyline, but has, like, not a complex storyline in the sense that you have to, like, pause and be like, wait a second, wasn't this, and this going on?
Yes.
In the sense of, like, it was written, like, linear plot.
Yeah.
It was easy to understand in that, but I guess complex as far as, like, the topics that were kind of talked about. But being able to read a relatively simple series with really complex topics.
Yeah.
It just...
You also, like, grow up, and then you're like, oh, wait a damn minute.
Well, that was something, too. Reading it as... at least I read it as the books were coming out. Mm-hmm. So I essentially grew up with Percy Jackson, with all the characters. And, and that was kind of a big thing. Like, being able to, like, go through all this stuff, like, together. Mm-hmm. It felt really important. And it felt like something kind of bigger than it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to go on my spiel.
Go.
Okay, because I was about to be like,
Go on your spiel.
Okay, so for me, I'll never forget. So, I was really into reading as a kid, and I hadn't read Harry Potter yet, even though everybody was into it. But I
didn't read Harry Potter till after Percy Jackson.
Yeah, same. I was in 5th grade when I actually read Harry Potter, and I was scared. Because I happened to walk in when my grandfather was watching the movie, and I walked in at the wrong moment with that weird, like, talking head, you know, the weird dead. Yeah, and I happened to see that, and I was like, I'm scared.
Yeah, it was scary. I saw the spider scene in, like, the second movie, and I was like,
yeah, and I was scared of a lot of things as a kid, so seeing that, I was like, I'm fucking good.
Yeah.
But, so it was kind of different. So at my school, there was some kind of achievement that you could get, and then you could get a free book.
Was like AR points?
I don't know if it was that.
Okay.
I don't know what it was, but it was kind of like, hey, yo, you get a free book, and here's your selection.
Okay.
And everybody in my grade, and at least, like, in the class I was in, we were all into Percy Jackson. Like, everybody was reading it, everybody was super into it, and I was like, well, this shit looks kind of lit.
Yeah.
And, like, I love the original run of the book covers, because that is just so cool.
Right? Like, it's something. And everything about it. It's just
beautiful. But that original run of covers is, like, amazing. But I remember... So I was, like, looking around at my free book selection. I was like, okay, everybody's reading this fucking Percy Jackson book.
I want to see what this is
right?
about.
And I couldn't tell, like, which was the first book, so I happened to pick up the 3rd book first. And I was like, I guess. And I was reading it, and I was like, I feel like I'm missing a lot. And I remember my crush in the class was like, well, that's because it's the 3rd book. And I was like... Oh,
I totally do that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess since I already kind of spoiled things, my tattoo is from the 3rd book.
It's okay.
Whatever.
It's okay.
It's you don't know what happened.
But
the 3rd book means so much to me. So I was like, okay, fill me in real quick. Let me know what I'm missing. And then I read the 1st and 2nd, and then the 4th. So I read it.
Did you finish reading the 3rd book?
I finished reading the 3rd.
Really?
Then I went back and read the 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah, it was different, but the 3rd book means so much to me because I read it the 1st.
Okay.
Also, my favorite character, who I will not name, is introduced in that book. And
see, this is a little twist because I know who it is.
Yeah.
But my favorite character was also introduced in the 3rd book, but I love her character as well, but they're not the same character.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I know who you're talking about.
Well, my favorite character...
my favorite...
I remember when the fan art got released for them, like the official, and that's the cool thing that Rick...
Yeah, we're using they, them pronouns. You're not
so you don't know who we're talking about. But when
that'd be interesting if people could guess.
But Uncle Rick had, like, official fan art made, so you knew exactly what each character looked like. And so when that person's was released, and it was like in those special, like, I think it was the Ultimate Guide when it was released.
Yes, oh my god.
First time you got to see what they looked like.
The Ultimate Guide.
That was my sexual awakening.
Dude.
I mean, I already was kind of like, hey.
Yeah.
And then I was like, whoa, hey.
Yeah.
I wanted to be them. I had a haircut like them.
I mean, obviously I still love them, but God, especially after rereading, like, the entire series last night.
Yeah.
I just,
yes.
Just those characters.
Yes.
Well,
It's just
always
so
have a place
well
in my heart.
done, well thought out.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell Rick went into this, and I hate to act, Rick feels so informal. I feel like he needs to be elevated to a higher status.
Yeah.
But he really, there was love and thought.
Yeah.
You can tell he is a writer because he cares and he loves so much. But
yeah.
reading those books, and then my teacher, so I read these in 4th grade. That's when I was introduced. And so, you know what, it was probably about the same time.
Yeah, I think so.
But my teacher, my 4th grade teacher, would read the books out loud, like, during our, like, snack time or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, so it was, like, a whole class thing.
Wow.
Like, everybody was into it. We were really into it.
Yeah.
So I probably have finished the series by 5th grade. And then when Rick came out with the continuation series, Here's Olympus, I think by the time I was finishing that book, like, the series, I was like, shit, I'm the same age as Percy. And it was just crazy to be like, I really did grow up with him.
Yeah, you grew up with, like, the entire like, cast of characters, and you're like, well, shit, like, it feels like you went through all this stuff together, and obviously, like, you know, obviously you don't go on these, like these, like, adventures with them and all this shit.
Yeah.
But, like, emotionally, like,
yes.
because, like, you're roughly around the same age, like, you get to feel a lot of the same stuff that they're feeling, and the confusion, and the, why am I experiencing this? Especially with the topic, well, I mean, I guess, not really spoiler, but, like, parents is kind of, like, a huge thing.
Yeah.
And so, growing up and, like, having, like, my own parents, like, go through a divorce as I'm reading these books and being able to find characters and identify with them that are not necessarily going through the same thing, because clearly my parents were not Greek gods. R.I.P. Wished it was for the longest time. I was like, I wonder who it would
you were
be.
like, which one is it?
Right?
And then you kind of had a moment
just,
of, like, a morality moment. You're like, well, which one's not related to me? And I'm
I
like,
just looked too much like both my parents. I couldn't even fight it.
I know,
like,
right? I was like,
I was so mad.
I was like, it's either Athena or Apollo. And I would take Greek god tests of, like, who I was most like.
I would usually get Hermes.
Interesting.
But then again, I look too much like my father, and I'm like, God damn it. But anyway, so, like, having, like, you know, growing up and, like, especially around, like, the middle school time when my parents were getting divorced, and, like, it was, like, a really, like, tough time. And being able to, like, turn to these books and, like, see these other kids that had, like, you know, single parent households and, like, face these things where maybe they didn't connect with one of their parents, and the struggles of not, or of just, like, going through shit at that age, and trying to understand what these feelings were and why do I have this anger and all this shit. And you see characters that are going through the exact same thing at the exact same age. It just really resonates, and it's just something that's so important that, especially at the time, I know I needed to have that comfort of knowing that, like, what I was feeling was, like, okay. And that's something that, like, Rick gave us, and, like, gave, like, kids that age. And even to this day, like, kids that are in middle school, or, like, you know, older or younger, that are having, you know, issues with their parents, or their parents are getting divorced, or they grew up in a single-parent household, then, like, that's something that you can turn to these books and, like, be able to find comfort in that.
It's very much like parents aren't perfect, and there's a lot of comfort. And I think around the age when you start realizing that, and we've talked about this, I think, in a past podcast, when you start to realize that it's kind of the same age that Percy is, or, like, around the age, or maybe that's when you found this book series, and then you're like, parents aren't perfect. But you're like, at least they aren't fucking immortal gods.
It's like, it's realizing that they're not perfect, that this is, at least, you know, as the older child, realizing that, like, they're doing this shit for the first time. Like,
they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Clearly.
At least they're not, like, a millennia old, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
And then just that, and again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I just point out so many, like, specific instances where I'm like, that's it, that's what I'm feeling, and Rick just describes it perfectly, and he just,
it's
like,
crazy.
I will never be able to praise these books enough. It's just, they're what I needed, and they're what I still need today, just to, like, feel like a kid again.
So, I want to come back to that, but quick interruption, so if you're still following along at this point, quick plot of Percy Jackson.
Oh, yeah, maybe we should explain
the plot.
Yeah.
So, quick plot. plot.
Yeah.
Basically, Percy Jackson, he is a 12-year-old kid.
Yes. In the first book, he's 12 years old.
He's 12 years old, yeah. And he has ADHD and dyslexia. And come to find out,
his dad is Poseidon.
Yeah, that's not really a spoiler.
No, it's not. Because it says it in the back of the book.
True.
Like in the excerpt, that's like, Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon.
True. So he finds out he's a demigod, and he gets thrown into this crazy world of Greek mythology.
Of having to go on these, like, quests.
Modern day, like, context. And, it's, like,
and learning that all the Greek myths are true.
Totally true.
And he's at this camp with other demigods.
And, like, New York is, like, the hub for Western culture now. Yeah. And, like, that's where they're all at. And it's just... I am always such a fan of, I guess, illusion or just, like, taking old things and, like, reinventing them to modern-day context. Yeah. Like, I love that with fairy tales.
Yeah.
I love that with, like, mythology. And that's exactly what this book does.
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy and cool and creative. And you're like, oh, my God, I never would have thought. Or, this is not a spoiler, but, like, Hermes owns and runs Amazons as well does the Amazons.
Also, I love, again, not a spoiler, but I love the fact that Apollo just does shitty haikus all the time. Like, one of my favorite things. Like,
and that's the other thing.
And he's, like, the cool guy that, like, drives the Mustang and, like, has the sunglasses.
He's hot
like,
as hell.
I mean, duh, because he's the sun god, so he's hot.
He's hot.
Duh.
But, so that's the other thing about this book, or this series, is it's fucking funny. It's in Percy's perspective.
Oh my God.
He's like, I didn't fucking want this.
The funniest fucking narrator ever.
Anybody who's actually read the series, it's book 3.
The Dam
chapter.
The Dam chapter.
You know what I'm talking about? That shit was hilarious.
That shit, like, I was cracking
up. You're like a kid, and you're like, that's hilarious.
You're like, this is the pinnacle of humor. Nothing will ever be funnier than this. But the way that the dam, like, that's...
You know what we're talking about.
And the way they just narrates things, and, like, as a kid, obviously, it's funny as hell, but then as an adult, you're like, this shit funny as hell.
So good. And just, like... Rick comes up with these amazing plots.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to go on that tangent because we'll get to that in a second. But
I'll just say real quick, amazing plots.
Yes.
The fucking, like, twists and turns.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
The climaxes, the plot twist, amazing. But the last thing that I wanted to say, kind of going off of what you said, is, like, I guess when I was starting to read these books, I mean, yeah, like, I think I was just kind of at that stage in childhood where it wasn't really childhood anymore, and you're starting to realize things, and you're like, oh my God, this is how the world really is. And reading and these books have always been an escape for me. They've always been a great way to get away from reality and, like, just enjoy some cool shit and, like, feel like a hero, even though you're living vicariously through them.
Yeah.
I've always had, and I still kind of do, have an active imagination.
Well, when you find yourself making the same choices as the narrator,
it
definitely makes the adventure more realistic.
Exactly, yeah. And, I mean, this shit fueled my imagination. Like, I was out in my backyard, like, tapping on trees, like, I know a nymph lives in
right?
Hello. But it
also... I had me, like, looking everywhere. I'm like, which one of you? Any monsters out here?
Right? I was a kid, and I emailed Rick, and he's awesome, because he responded. And I was like, I think my music teacher is a monster. And he said, probably.
I was like, and you're, like, at your music teacher, like, I'm watching you.
I see you, bitch. I see you. So, I mean, like, that, like, fucking rocked my world that he actually responded. And, I mean, it's just, and even just the way it, like, made me look at the world, but it also, like, it makes you want to learn. Like, I went to my school's library, and I checked out every single fucking book that I could about Greek mythology, and I read as much as I could, because, I mean, the series tells you, but it also makes you want to learn more.
I like it, because also, Percy Jackson, this is, again, not spoiler, he's a fucking idiot. At least when he starts, he doesn't know shit.
He doesn't know shit!
And so, like, you'll be going through, and all of a sudden, there are these, like, characters from Greek mythology showing up, and Percy's like, wait, who is that? And then, like, another character will just be like, that is
always Annabeth.
You know. Yeah, and, well, I didn't want to say Annabeth. Well, I guess
Annabeth, the rock star girl.
Love of your life. Usually Annabeth should be like, but Percy, that's blah, 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 blah. You didn't know that? Duh. And Percy's like, oh, yeah, I totally knew that.
I mean, Percy's an idiot. He's definitely more... It's a good thing he's pretty.
Yes.
How about that?
He's pretty and he can fight. That's it.
There's a reason why a child of Athena is involved in this situation.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's... So let's So we talked about why we loved it
I could go in for hours on this, but again, we don't want to do any spoilers.
Yeah.
And I've really been holding myself back because there's so many. There was something I just wanted to talk about. I'm like, wait, I literally cannot talk about this without spoiling a pretty major point in the book for at least one of the characters.
And that's why if you haven't read the continuation series, or if you're just starting out reading Percy Jackson, you definitely should read the continuation series. Because the other thing that I really love about Rick is he caters to his fans, and sometimes I really don't think it's a bad thing to cater to your fans.
No.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Especially sometimes because your fans see things or they want things that you're maybe not thinking about because
or that
of your
you
privilege or
that
who
they
you
were
are.
like picking up that maybe you're like unconsciously like, you're like, hey, like I'm really sensing something with this character between these two characters, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize I wrote it like that, but okay, like.
Or like Rick is a straight cis white man, and his readers were like, yo, give us some diversity, and he said, you know what? Yes. And that's why I love, so his Magnus Chase series is amazing. He definitely goes the fuck off with that. There's the Kane Chronicles, which is good, but he kind of gave up on, and I don't blame him. That's okay.
No one blames him for that. You know, you gotta pick your battles. It's okay.
I think it should have been a trilogy, and I think he thought that too. And that is okay. But Heroes of Olympus.
Don't talk about the Kane Chronicles.
And it is okay.
Yeah.
It was good. It was awesome. It is what it is. But, Heroes of Olympus, that shit, I remember, 4th book, y'all know the moment.
I remember okay, sorry, go on.
But the 4th book.
Oh, yes.
I wrote shit about that at school. I remember reading that. At that point, I think I was in 8th grade when I read it. And I remember reading it, and I remember I was laying on the floor in my living room, and I said, and I cried, and I cried.
Oh.
And at that moment, I didn't know, or I hadn't come to terms, I guess, that I was bi or anything. But that moment meant so much to me, I couldn't even believe that he did that. I mean, I guess, Heroes of Olympus, not only does it get ethnically and racially diverse.
He's like, let me just dip my toes in, like,
let's get gay.
The first, like, series. But the second one, he said, person of color, gay, woo, 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 woo. Like,
what do you need? You got it.
No, he said, let me just throw some diversity in there.
And it's everything. And it's crazy that
perfect.
It's a YA book and he did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he is such an amazing author. I think that's why everything he creates is so amazing. I think that's why fuck J.K. Rowling and, like, all her shit, and now that she realizes what she should have done in the first place and she tries to backtrack, but she never actually fixes things.
Well, it's like, okay, so I am a huge fan of Harry Potter. Fuck J.K. Rowling, but I'm a fan of Harry Potter. Yeah, it's good.
I used to wish on a star every night before I turned 11 to try and get my fucking Hogwarts leather.
Dude, I was waiting for that shit for years.
That shit. It was good.
Like, I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, but that's not without being able to criticize its flaws.
Yeah.
Versus Percy Jackson, no flaws as far as I'm concerned. Don't even talk. Like, there's nothing. It's
and
perfect.
If there is a flaw, the other awesome thing about Rick is he acknowledges it.
Yeah, like,
he goes, you know what?
There was, like, kind of something in the first series where, like, it really wasn't anything, but then he was like, maybe I shouldn't have, like,
wait, what was that?
Oh, yeah. Where it's like really nothing, but he's like, maybe like that's not perfect.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, you know, whatever. But then fucking J.K. Rowling is like out here like naming characters like Cho Chang. Dumbledore was gay and blah blah blah. And actually Hermione
was black.
She's like Hermione was black. It was never said otherwise, but I'm pretty sure it was. And like she's out here trying to make all these changes like post series that just don't make sense and are just really like trying to shove it in your face and like
that shit bothers me.
Yeah, it's not great, and I'm like, okay, you wrote it at a time where maybe you weren't, like, aware of, you know, the impact that would have or the need for diversity. And, like, as a white woman, like, she clearly didn't know.
And we didn't, and that was, like, the 90s.
Yeah, it was written in the 90s, too.
The internet at the level that it's at right now where it's like, yo, fucking give us the shit that we deserve and we need.
So, like, it's okay to sometimes let it be. Okay, you didn't write it perfect. That's okay. Just let it die.
The product at the time, acknowledge, just acknowledge the fact that you're a white woman and you didn't have to think about it because you're a white woman.
Or hey, now you realize that it needs more diversity, write a new series.
Literally.
That's what Rick did.
Heroes of Olympus, y'all.
That's, like, you're like, I wrote this first one, it's a great series, I love it, but maybe I can do better.
Yes.
Like, and not saying that Heroes of Olympus is better than than Percy Jackson and the Olympians, because that Percy
was
Jackson
the blueprint. Cultural reset.
Percy Jackson Olympian was the blueprint. So not saying that, but I think J.K. Rowling could have done. I think she could have done a follow-up series that was better, and not as.
Because if it really mattered, she could have said something about the movies. Like, Emma Watson didn't have to be casted.
Yeah.
You know? Like, wasn't she pretty involved with the movies?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, sometimes just let it be, okay? You know what? It was a product of the times. Like, and that's not to say that it was bad. Like, clearly, I mean, just look at the success that it had. It was so successful. So just let it be and
just
move
acknowledge
on.
your privilege.
Yeah.
And
and like and if you are really like that concerned about it, be an activist now.
Yes.
Like, be an activist now and like talk about the things that you didn't necessarily talk about originally. Like, do stuff now what you couldn't do later, like, or before.
Last thing, too.
Yeah.
Rick does that. He has his Rick Presents, those series. So now that he's dabbled in different mythologies, but now there's other writers who are writing mythologies that have to do with their culture and their heritage and all that, and he does a Rick Presents. So he basically kind of like produces it, like he basically slaps his name on it. It's like his publishing or whatever, but it's written by whole different writers, and he like totally props them up. He's like, this is their shit, this is what they're doing,
you guys need to be reading this. Like,
exactly.
And which is amazing, which I mean, again, not to keep comparing J.K. Rowling, but she could totally do with the
money,
with the fucking money that she has,
the access that she has.
So now, again, we could keep going on this.
Yeah, we need to move on.
But I think they've kind of overlapped a little bit. But the final thing I think maybe we wanted to talk about is, what are we expecting from...
Well, we haven't talked about the original film. That's what we wanted to talk
about.
First.
Shit. Yeah. Oh, see, that's how much I just erased it from my memory.
So we're here today. We're gathered here today.
I've gathered you here today to talk about a funeral. A murder of the books is
the original movie, the original run, because now it's being adapted.
Yes.
And it's being adapted because, so the movie almost came out 10 years ago.
Shit,
almost
did
10.
it?
Yeah, it was like 2012. I remember watching it.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I remember feeling let down after watching it. I remember being kind of like, but I was like, maybe I'll take it because I wanted this so bad.
And like you were younger and like you weren't able to or I mean I'm sure some people were, but at least I was like, this is what I got. Like I can critically think about this and like criticize. I couldn't do that. Like I was like,
a kid, I was
12 years old. I was like, okay, sure. I don't know how to criticize a movie. Like I'm like, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but like okay, for me it was, my initial thought was, this isn't the book, but it's an okay movie. Yes. That was my initial thought. I'm like, this isn't Percy Jackson, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was that.
Yeah.
And then when I could really think about it.
Yeah, so as a film major, I actually took a film adaptation class a couple semesters ago, and I wrote a lot about this movie, but I tried to do it in a scholarly way and take some opinion out of it. But I did write a video essay about sometimes fidelity is important in films, especially adaptations, and I will post it on this channel. Just so it kind of summarizes a lot what we're talking about, or we may not talk about everything that we do in this podcast. But yeah, so we were kids when we watched it, so we didn't really like.
Also, I did go to the book signing, and I did meet Logan Lerman, Alexandra Daddario, and I can't remember Grover's.
You never told me this.
I totally have.
I know you have.
There's a picture somewhere of
I've never seen it.
I told you I have a signed copy at my mom's house of.
I must have just not really been listening. I thought you meant like a signed copy from like Rick, not like.
I have one from Rick and from. Dude, when I tell you, I waited in line for hours.
Bitch.
I did meet Logan Lerman, so Logan, if you're watching, hi boo. Do you remember me? I was 12 years old.
Not now.
Not now. I'm not 12 now, so.
Get with it.
Yeah, I did. I met them. I totally blacked out.
I thought that was so well.
I high-fived Alexandra Daddario. She went.
With those gray eyes, are they just as intense?
Oh my god, definitely part of my sexual awakening. So yeah, so that was that. Just wanted to pop that in.
Yeah, so I think the reason why the movies were such a letdown, and they still feel like a letdown, is because when you read the books, Rick is so amazing, and he does imagery so well that you don't even realize how, like, it's like reading a movie, and the images are clearly there in your mind. You're not even thinking about it. He writes it so eloquently that it's just flowing along, and it's beautiful, and you can see everything. Like, I'll see people's fan art. I've seen some shitty fan art that, like, definitely a 10-year-old has put together, but it's all the same image. Yeah, like, we all have the same idea in our head.
The fan art, regardless of, like, the character, the scene, like, the topic, whatever, it's consistent across the board of, like, what people, and there's not even, like, different interpretations. Like, it just, the writing is so well that, like, you just know what it is.
Yeah, and a thing that I learned in my adaptation class, but I mean a general thing that I think we all know, is when you go watch a film about whatever, like it's a superhero or it's some book just got made into a movie, not everything's going to be how you pictured it, because everybody interprets something different.
Also, you know that not everything can be included. You're
exactly.
Like, okay, this is a book this big, and like
you get an hour, maybe two. Yeah. But Percy Jackson, again,
they just took a big fat shit on those books. That's our overall opinion. They took a shit on the books.
But the imagery was so clear. There was canon fan art.
It's so hard to
canon art. It wasn't fan art.
It's so hard to consider how they fucked it up that bad. Like, and like obviously yes they fucked it up, but then also like how they were so far off the mark. Yeah. Like and again, like, obviously not film major, so, like, I don't know, like, how the technical workings, whatever. Like, I don't know any of that shit. Yeah. But, like, as, like, just a viewer, it's so hard to understand how the movie was just so different from the book.
Yeah. Exactly. No, and then, if you guys are aware, some drama went down a couple years ago. Like, light drama. Yeah. Rick was very, cordial about it. Yeah. But he basically, on his website, did a little tell-all where he published just his answers to emails to the producers of the movies. Yeah. Oh, that was some juicy drama. He didn't say who they were. He didn't say who he was corresponding with. He didn't send their emails.
There weren't like names or anything. Yeah, it was just like
he was
his
very
responses.
Polite about it. Yeah, it was exactly. And he very clearly, if you read these emails and you go on the website, he talks about like kids across the nation are asking for this to be done right. Like, I don't understand why you made them older. Like, this is for kids.
That was one of the biggest problems I had, the age difference.
They're old and there's this weird sexual tension. Yeah. When, like, first of all, that tension builds because they get older. Yeah. And
it makes more sense, too. 12-year-olds, like, you don't have that kind of sexual tension. That,
because you're 12.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest things that drew people in the first book. He was 12. What, in the movie he was supposed to be like
16?
16
in the movie.
Which I'm like, no, that's the age he was in the last book. And that's a big point. Matters. That matters that he was 16 in the last book.
So what the movie does is not only do they write out 2 major plot twists, and the book kind of has 2 climaxes.
Oh, for sure,
There's 2 climaxes in the book, and the film writes out both, even though both are so cinematic.
And so, honestly, so critical to the characters.
Yes. Like, and you don't even see it coming. It's so well done.
It's so important to the story, and it's so well done. Mm-hmm. And, like, they reference it, even in the last book, they're referencing shit that happened in the first book. Like,
exactly.
Of the two plot twists that happened, like, they're still referencing that.
Major, but it's amazing and beautiful, and when you get to the first one you're like, oh, that's it, and then you get to the second one and you're like, oh shit, like, and you get to it and you're like, and we had a friend of ours actually just borrowed my books, and she was reading it, she was texting us at the same time, she said, I just got to it, and how is there only 10 pages left, how the fuck is this gonna get resolved?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's crazy, and it's good.
Well, I remember when she got to the first plot point, she's like, wow, that was crazy, like, guess we're just downhill from here, and I'm like, text me in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, like, right? And, I remember that. And then she did, and she was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And so you get to that second one, and the second one really sets you up for the rest of the series.
Oh my god, it's such a pinnacle point. It sets it up. I wish I could talk about just like how it just goes in, but like it's so
like boom.
It's so important for so many different things, and just like for so many different reasons too. Like
like so it ends at that point, and then the book's like, all right. And then you get to the second book.
Rick,
and then,
king of cliffhangers.
Oh my god, and you know, if anybody read the Heroes of Olympus, he dedicated those cliffhangers to us because he really got our asses twice.
God, he said, "I got it the first time. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. Who would do it twice in a row?
Sorry.
That's so predictable."
And then we get to Blood of Olympus, and it's like, yeah, bitch, yeah, fuck it, and he did, haha, did it again. I think that's what the dedication.
I think so too. He's like, sorry for that. Bitch. He's like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you little hoe.
God, but I'm gonna keep coming back.
Right. But yeah, so you get, and then the second book is kind of all about, like, okay, like, what happened in that first book, and, like, what does that mean for the rest of the series, and there's more clarity there.
Yeah.
But
even in the last book, they're still giving clarity to that situation, and to everything that led up to that situation, because there's, it's clarity, but then it's also perspective, I think, which is also why I love that character so much. And
yes.
They are an interesting character. I think a lot of people would have a lot of mixed opinions about it, but
we could debate it.
Exactly. It's something that could be debated, but I enjoy this character so much, and the fact that they're a fucking great character. But then also, even in the last book, when you're still learning about their past and like just the situations that were presented to them.
Everyone's very complex, and they're rounded characters, and I think that's very important.
And then when you look at it from an outside perspective, you're like, y'all some kids.
Yeah,
y'all some kids. We're the adults.
Yeah, exactly. And you're dealing with
you're like, oh, all the adults are dead.
It's crazy, yeah. It's crazy, and by the end of it, you're like, Percy, you need therapy.
But that was one of the biggest things that the movies messed up, was that they made him 16 in the first book when it made zero sense for that, when he needed to be, like, there's a specific reason why he needed to be 16 in the last book.
Exactly.
Because without that, by making that age difference, there's no point. There's literally no point.
So they take out a major plot structure that kind of continues the whole series.
Yeah.
And also, again, like, I mean, you read it, it's no secret. Like, him and Annabeth get together. It's not a secret. You fucking know it. If you've ever watched the movies, it's clear there's that sexual tension. But the amazing thing about the book series is it builds up to it. They become, like, an appropriate age when they act upon it.
Yeah, and in an appropriate way, too.
Yeah, and I like the way that they started out as friends. Like, their friendship is always what matters first. It's what matters most.
The way that they support each other, and, like, the way that they push each other to do better, or that they force each other to think more about a situation, and they just help each other. It's just...
Yeah, the way that they feel isn't the whole basis of their relationship. There's so much more to it.
And it doesn't turn into, oh, well, I'm finding you attractive now, therefore I disregard everything you're saying. Like, and I really like that it wasn't, like, one of those things where it's like, oh, wow, like, they're so attractive, I can't even pay attention to what they're saying. It's like, no, I'm paying attention to everything they're saying because I'm so attracted. Like, one of those things where, like, I respect them so much as a person and as an individual that, like, it almost kind of seems secondhand thought. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, I might be having feelings for this person. Like, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's very well done. It's very true to, like, your first love or whatever.
Yeah. And especially as a child, like, childhood, but then also, like, being friends with someone and then falling in love with them.
Feeling, which is, like, all of my relationships, so I can relate. But... so, like, and the way that's built up is really well done, and there's, like, suspense building.
Even the way that's executed,
the way it's...
That part part in the fourth book, do you know what I'm talking...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry. No, you reminded me. I forgot that happened.
That's right, I was talking about that last night. When I read that, I felt like I was a little kid again, like, giggling, and I was like, oh.
But when they really do get together, that shit is so iconic.
Dude.
And the movies miss out on that. And it's crazy to think the director of those movies also directed the first 3 Harry Potters.
I don't get it, because also, like, I would think from, like, again, as... What I would think from a film standpoint is you're like, let me do this well, let me build the suspension, and let me, like, build the tension, and, like, that kind of stuff.
And Harry Potter was definitely a blueprint, you know? And
just looking at how they played Harry's relationship with Ginny, like, that wasn't something, like, they were friends first. I didn't
see that one coming. No.
Yeah, it was like they were friends first, and then they, like, that wasn't something that happened until later on in the series, when, like, they were, first of all, when they were older.
And,
duh.
She was younger.
She was a year younger, so it wasn't that bad. But, I mean, they were still, again, they were 12 years old in the first one, so, like, he was 12, she was 11, like, it's not something that, like, you know, you think about kids doing, because that's fucking weird. Like,
exactly. But Harry Potter was the blueprint in the sense you could get nobody actors.
Yeah.
12 years old, everybody grows up with them.
I saw a tweet that was like, oh, to be 12 and naive and have a great agent that's going to get you these parts in Percy Jackson.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, like, everybody was expecting they were going to follow Harry Potter because, like, it's kind of the same in that sense, you know, like, it's young kids who grow up with them.
It was expected to become, like, the new wave Harry Potter.
Exactly.
That's what kind of was expected, because at least the book series was essentially, not the same in, like, plot structure, but the same in, like, the following and the fans.
They're young, they grow up, all that. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we were expecting, and then they made him older. They made it this weird sexually charged thing, and then
they added stuff, and like they
that
changed
whole poker face scene.
That was iconic in the sense you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I was like, I love this song. Like, I remember when watching the movie, and I was like, I love this song, but I hate how this scene is going.
No, I'm like this. Well, the fact that they're at a fucking casino and
yeah, we'll stop there. Yeah. But it's just, there were so many things.
They just aged it up and that fucked it all up.
And it made it weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember being a kid, and the whole point is like, a bunch of kids went to go watch that movie to go connect with other kids on the screen, and then they're 16. Yeah. Like, I get trying to appeal to an older audience, but
he didn't have to do that. You already had us.
The basis was the kid.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm sure my mom was kind of like, what did I take her to?
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing, the thing that really bothers me too is like the series, the book series inspired so much imagination. It was beautiful. It was colorful. You know, like you could just see the color.
Yeah.
And in the movies, it was so bland. It looked like some kind of like Sparta, like just kind of very Grecian looking. When it's kind of like the whole point is that
it's modern now.
It's modern. So like, why are we not seeing Zeus in a pinstripe suit? Why are we not seeing Poseidon in his Hawaiian shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
His Tommy Bahama shirt.
I want to see Apollo driving like a bright red fucking Camaro. Like, I don't know if it was a Camaro, but like.
It was some
like sports car. Yeah, maybe it was a Mustang, but like I think it was described as like cherry red because he has like the red cows and like, all that shit. Oh. See, I reread it last night, so I'd be remembering.
Oh, see, here we go.
But like, I want to see this bright ass car and this like way too hot of a guy like step out in like some cool fucking shades and like I want to see all this over dramatic, almost campy shit. Like, because also that's what the Greek gods are. They're campy as shit. Like, oh my god, even well, I can't talk about that because it's kind of a. Well, okay, it's not. Okay, actually, no, I'm not gonna say it because it could be a spoiler. But even some of the shit that goes on, you're like, bro, you're seriously mad about this? Like,
yeah. Oh my god, yeah. But it's like, again, it's this modern day context, and then seeing Camp Half-Blood, and you like at that time, the Camp Half-Blood art hadn't been released.
But again, it's described so well. And with the fucking cabins, he literally said it's in a U shape.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And they said scatter the cabins, not show any of the other cabins. Like,
and if you watch my video essay, that's something I critique, is it looks like some generic summer camp.
Yeah.
When in the books, it's described as this, like, crazy pool.
Like, I wanted to go so bad. Yeah. And it largely was because of the way that they described it. It was the cabin specifically in a U shape and and I love the fact that each cabin had like the theme of the god or goddess.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the thing. And the old like the pavilion and like the beaches and the woods and the big house and like and all that shit. Yeah. I was like, God, this is what I want. And they described it in such a way. I mean, I think one of the biggest things they were like, it was, you know, green hills and blue skies and nothing could go wrong there.
Like, and you just see this like beautiful, just like almost like fairy tale.
Yeah, and then in the movie, it was like you were saying, this generic, like kind of rundown
darker
camp.
Colors,
like it kind of looked a little dirty and like I'm like, no, this is a fucking like
bright colors.
This is a camp for demigods, like, you know, essentially funded by the gods. And their cabins, they're gonna want their cabins looking nice as shit if it's supposed to be a representation of them.
Dionysus wasn't even in it.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't.
Yeah,
funny.
I forgot about that.
Funny. That's
and Dionysus was a huge fucking part.
He was huge, and
also iconic part.
Peter Johnson. For those of you who know, but
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. But I mean, it's also just so so fucking funny. That's the other thing. Like, it's hilarious.
Even in its most serious moments, when, like, said character throws a blue hairbrush. Do you remember that?
Is that in the first book?
It's in the fourth book.
Girl, you gotta refresh. Because it's not until you read the books you remember how many details. Who with the hairbrush? Oh, like, yes.
That fucking shit was
great.
So funny.
I was like...
And then again, this is just because I read the books. So I'm able to specifically remember like all the fucking funny moments.
A second for me.
But like, and it's supposed to be like a super serious moment, and they're like, let me just throw this like kids. You're like, let me just do this thing that a kid would completely do. Yes. Like when someone is trying to like, you know, sacrifice some food to the god, you're like, of course, like, it's gonna be this gourmet, blah, blah. And he's like, here's a fucking Happy Meal. Like,
yeah. Like, and like,
that's something a 12-year-old kid would do.
And
like,
yeah, and, like, that connection with kids is what the movie missed out on. But, I mean, it's things that kids would actually do. You know?
Also, these iconic characters that they didn't include in the movies.
Yes. Or they made them so small when they do play major parts.
Well,
they
like,
need to have
Clarice wasn't even in the movies.
She was in the second, which I think we'll discuss that in a second.
Yeah.
I guess, like, the last thing to say is, like, even though a lot of what Percy says and a lot of the chapter titles, which I'm hoping with the adaptation...
Dude, that would be fucking iconic.
Episode titles are just as funny. I mean, a lot of what Percy says and his, like, interiority and his thoughts are super funny. It's also the things that happen that are hilarious. I'm thinking of the toilet scene in the first book.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, come on. It's just shit that happens. And again, it's Greek gods in a modern day context. Like, also, that shit's hilarious.
I love how they introduce the kind of old myths and bringing them back, and I love how they kind of introduce, not necessarily moral dilemmas, but like these lessons that the whole concept of Greek mythology is supposed to introduce these life lessons. I mean, fucking Oedipus.
Trials of Apollo does that.
Yeah.
Like, they create their own new myths and, like, explain how the world right now is, which is interesting.
And, like, taking these, like, mythologies, its whole point is to have, like, learning lessons, and then, like, introducing it, and having the characters go through that learning lesson. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, that's why the myth was created, just to do that, or not do that, or, like, just have these, like, ideas as, like, essentially when you're reading it as a kid, you're, like, learning too. You're like, and also it's just iconic. Like, Greek mythology, fucking love that shit.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And, like, so real quick, I don't think we talked about it, but so the whole reason why Uncle Rick wrote this series is because his son had ADHD and dyslexia,
which is a major point in the books.
Yes,
that
is so major.
That all demigods have ADHD and dyslexia,
and that's why they are good demigods.
Yeah, because the ADHD allows them to have, like, fast reflex, thinking on the spot, like being able to, like, multitask and like whatever. And then the dyslexia, because, like, you gotta read Greek. Like, obviously you can't read English. Like, duh. So just read Greek.
Exactly. Like, and so Rick wrote these for his son, Rick originally was an English teacher when he started writing all this, and he wanted his son to be into reading, but his son wasn't because he had such a hard time, so he made up this whole world to make his son feel normal, to make his son, you know, normal, and I say that, like, with
but, like, being able to see yourself reflected in a series.
Yeah, and I think that's also why these series are so easy to read. Like, I know a lot of people with ADHD who had an easy time reading them, you know, and you feel engaged, you feel represented. I mean, there's so many reasons why it's so good, and while the movie kind of touched on it, they just didn't translate the core of it, like, why it mattered so much to us. And again, I think it's also just missing details, you know, like, of course, like, a movie, you don't have time for every scene,
and, like,
but,
I understand that as a viewer.
That could have been included.
Yeah, there's so many things that could have been included that weren't, and then also I feel like overall viewers and, like, fans of the book series, like, I understand that not everything can be included because so much is fit into those books.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, so much shit happens, which I think obviously makes sense because, like, you know, you're reading with ADHD and you're like, okay, this can't drag on too long.
Yeah,
so you're like, okay,
let's go.
Like, let me just add in a bunch of different shit. Yeah. So, like, a lot of shit happens, and, like, obviously understand that, like, not all of that can be put into, like, movie, or it doesn't have to either. But it just didn't, something wasn't clicking.
Scenes.
Something just wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
And
that like when Percy finds out who his dad is, like, that's
dude, like,
crazy. And So I think because everybody was so disappointed, I never watched it, but I remember watching the trailer for the second movie, and
I watched it. It was shit. In case you wanted to know, it was shit.
It seemed like they wanted to try and like backtrack what they did.
They were trying to backtrack and undo some of the stuff that they did, but that didn't make sense because they had already established that it was this way. Yeah. And then also, I think like I didn't look at the actual budget, but the budget of the film was not as high because the first movie did so shit that like. They just couldn't do the things that was that was needed to get done, and they just didn't have the budget for it, and like it just didn't it didn't work out.
And I mean I remember crying watching the trailer
for the second one.
I was so upset that they made a second one.
I don't even remember what I genuinely I just blocked that out of my memory.
I just distinctly remember crying, but I also so badly like I was like there needs to be a new adaptation, like I wanted to direct it. I'm happy that an adaptation's happening.
Yeah.
Who knows
also I do trust Disney Plus with that.
I think they'll have the budget.
They have the budget, and
they're including Rick and his wife. They are heavily involved.
And that's why I saw that Rick had kind of, I guess, transitioning into the next subject. I saw that Rick had posted on his Twitter. It looked like the screenplay of what was gonna happen. I can't tell if he was editing it or helping write that. I think so too. Which enormous faith in that, because he has commented in the past that he would not put his name on anything that had to do with Percy Jackson if he didn't approve of it. Yeah. And he is saying, he said, tell the newspapers, tell everyone, let them know Percy Jackson is coming back. And so that's what's getting me so excited for this.
That's what makes me feel like it's going to be done. I'm scared.
I don't want to get my hopes up. That's the biggest thing. I'm like going through it. In my mind, I'm going through all the things that, like, I'm like, oh, but what if they do this? And what if they do this? And, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying not to, like, get my hopes up because, like, I already went through that shit once. Like,
exactly. But with him being involved and him talking about it, it's definitely comforting. Yeah. And I think it's so amazing that, again, almost 10 years later, we're getting this adaptation, which they're making it a TV series, if you didn't know, which I think is totally good. I think it's totally
appropriate for that. They're making
so many details.
They're making a TV series, and supposedly each season is supposed to be based off a different book. So the first season is supposed to be based off The Lightning Thief, which is the first book. Second season, Sea of Monsters,
etc., etc.
Yeah, and so it's supposed to be like that. Yeah. Which again, it just makes sense to do it that way because so much happens.
So much.
And like you
pack so much.
Yeah, you just need to have that extra bit of time to give it time to develop like the development that it needs.
And I think what everybody wants, and I remember there's so many tweets Rick has made shitting on the movie, shitting on just everything. He was like, I think an iconic one that I remember seeing was, I think a sock puppet movie would be better at this point. Do you remember that one? Oh my
god, yes, I remember that. I love since they announced all this stuff, Logan Lerman actually went, and I think he quote retweeted Rick Riordan's original tweet of like announcing that this adaptation was going to happen, and I think Logan Lerman actually said like, wow, like so excited for a proper adaptation of the books, and I'm like,
and we all love Logan. Like, I love that nobody's put hate on him. He would have been the perfect Percy if he was just younger.
Okay, this kind of goes into, like, who we want to see, like, casted in it. Yes. I think it would be so funny to see Logan as two characters, either Poseidon, because that would just be iconic. You know, he's grown up a bit, and, like, he's fucking hot. Listen, I know in the books they technically describe him as, like, an old sailor dude, like, whatever, but, like, we can just... Poseidon can be hot, okay? And then also Dionysus.
I think Dionysus would be the best.
Because
let him grow out the beard, the shadow.
He's already got kind of like the grayish hair. Because if you've read the books, then you know, and not a spoiler, but Dionysus spends the entire series dragging on Percy Jackson.
And that's why I think it would be funny. It'd be so ironic.
And like Dionysus literally refuses to say Percy's name right. Like he just drags...
He calls him Peter Johnson a lot.
He just drags on him so much, and I think that'd be so funny if...
It'd be amazing.
And technically, like, Dionysus is described as somewhat of a Danny DeVito type character, which I think would also be funny if they could get him. But, like, my acceptable cast for Dionysus, Logan Lerman or Danny DeVito.
Yeah. That's so different.
But, like, either one.
Yeah. So we're kind of going into our fan cast now. So we clearly, as if we didn't already talk about, we want age-appropriate kids. I want nobody.
I want new actors. I want fresh faces, like age-appropriate. I understand that like they might not be like 12 exactly, like maybe closer to like 15, but still play like 12-year-olds. Like that's just what I want.
Yeah.
And then also I think it'd be really cool to have like the Greek gods as more well-known actors and actresses.
Yeah, and I think that's been the consensus on Twitter.
Just because, like, it would make sense to have these Greek gods as, like, quote-unquote celebrities. Yeah, because, like,
which is kind of
at least, like, match their... I saw this one tweet that was, like, cast Gwyneth Paltrow as Hera and just let her be.
Yeah.
And just, like,
keep
put her
horrible people away besides her, though.
Yeah.
We don't want them. And fuck Gal Gadot.
Don't want her
away.
Don't want her breathing on this movie, no.
Keep her away.
Yeah, I think... Just there's a lot of expectations. I understand that. I have ideas in my head of like, oh, it'd be so funny if they did this, or like.
I have always said, Viola Davis as Medusa.
Yes,
Viola Davis as Medusa.
Viola Davis as Medusa. I think that would be amazing. I think also, well, we talked about for alternatively for Poseidon, if Logan Lerman is not cast, you said like have like a Filipino guy play him.
Yeah, like Hawaiian.
Yeah,
like. I just think, so I know you saw the post, there was this Twitter post, and I wish I could remember it, but it was like, Disney Plus, and then there's like the Trojan horse, and it's like Rick Riordan pulling the Trojan horse, so it's like Rick Riordan pulling the Trojan horse, and in the Trojan horse it says POC and LGBT characters, like going into, so I almost wonder if in the TV series if he's going to kind of add in some more LGBT.
I think that'd be really cool.
But I'm hoping there will be more POC and black characters.
Yeah.
I think there should be. I think they should keep Grover as black.
Grover should be black. I think either Grover should be black because that's kind of... Okay, he's not described as black in the book, but they like...
But, like, he should be.
He should
have an afro to cover his horns.
Yeah, either black or... I think it'd be really cool if Grover was native because they make a mention lot of, like... Obviously, like, he's a satyr, so, like, super, like, with, like, nature and searching for Pan, which is, like, the god of the wild. And, like, that... At least, like, that just makes sense for me if like, they were native and his entire... Because, I mean, basically, everything is surrounded, like, nature and, like,
it's very
all that stuff. So I think either one of those would be cool because one way would be sticking closer to, like, the way that he's described in the books versus like other like ideologies and stuff. So I think either way would be really cool. I think
Percy should be like of the same ethnicity or race as whoever plays Poseidon.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I really believe in like Hawaiian or like...
I mean, that makes fucking sense. Like, he's Poseidon.
Like come on. Like, dude. Why would he be a white guy? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think when they get to introducing Nico, I think Nico should be Hispanic. Because, I mean, his fucking mom's name is Maria D'Angelo.
Yeah,
like,
come on.
I think he's technically in the books described as
He's Italian.
He's Italian, but I'm like...
Come on, he could be like half or whatever.
Yeah, like, just make him Hispanic.
like, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Jabuki. He's Italian.
Okay, but...
Sorry.
Oh my god, cursed thought. Cast Jabuki as Nico.
No. Jabuki will
be great. As Grover. No, wait a second.
Now, wait a damn minute.
Plus, I have an idea.
I also think... Sally Jackson should be played by the same chick who does Aunt May. That's the one Marvel person I'll allow.
I like that.
In the latest Spider-Man.
Yeah. Who were you saying should play Hestia, that little girl that...
Oh, that little girl that's in everything. I can't remember her name, but she was just in that scary movie with Finn Wolfhard. She was also the main character in the Florida Project. She would be perfect as Hestia.
Because Hestia's described as like a little girl.
Yeah, and she's like an amazing little like actress and shit.
Also, actually, no, I'm not going to mention that. I was going to say how Hestia kind of turns into a big part, but I'm not even going to go into that because...
Yes. That scene?
Ooh.
That scene, though.
Ooh, made me cry.
Or she could be Artemis, because Artemis is also depicted as a young girl.
I think for Artemis, I would like to see, like, just, like, a slightly older than her, just because, like, I mean, she's supposed to be, like, fucking, like, fighting shit and, like, everything. But definitely still, like, younger. Yeah.
You were saying, did you say, or you said that Twitter was saying Donald Glover for Apollo?
Yeah, I think that'd be fucking dope. And biggest if they can get Donald Glover to do that, I think Donald Glover as Apollo. There's also, I was talking to you about this.
Who else is hot?
Like, no, literally. Alternative casting for Nico, which is this one actor that I have been following him for a while on Twitter. He was in the OA, if you watch that. He and Alexander.
Perfect. I think he would be
think he would be fucking perfect. He's posted on Twitter himself, like...
Yeah, he's like, cast me.
He's like, cast me. I'll do it. He has, like, a whole fucking thread explaining why.
Yeah.
I just think he would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, and I love him as an actor. Clearly, OA didn't really get much, because, like, I never watched the second season. Like,
I've been meaning to.
But, like, I've just enjoyed him for a long time. I'm, like, a really big fan of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he should be cast.
The other thing that seems to be the consensus is, so Rick writes Aphrodite as she's like constantly changing her appearance and stuff. And so a lot of what's been said on Twitter, I'm not on Tumblr anymore, so I don't know what they're saying.
I haven't really checked up on.
I haven't checked in on there. A lot happening on Tumblr.
Oh God.
But what I've seen on Twitter, and I agree, is like Aphrodite should like different scenes, or like I think she should just maybe, like, changing
either constantly changing where it's like hard to focus on her, or like maybe like it'd be really cool if they never showed like her face, like just like maybe like showed her like specific like parts, like the corner of her shoulder, or like just like part of her face, like just because you can never get a clear view because like there's not like one idea of like what beauty is.
And I would love the idea that it's just like, even if she shifts, like, in the scene, or she changes each scene, she's like, I'm still Aphrodite.
I think it'd be fucking iconic to have Lizzo as Aphrodite for just one. Give me one episode, because I want her constantly changing. Because I want her, like, obviously.
I think all races and all body types should all be Aphrodite. Like, there shouldn't be one set actress. She should be changing. She should be like morphing. Like, it's Aphrodite looks different because beauty comes. I think they could really make a statement by saying Aphrodite is more than just like a skinny white
I swear to God, if they cast a skinny white blonde chick, I will.
It's over. It's over. Don't do it.
Don't
beauty.
Don't do it.
We need to erase it. Don't do it. We need to erase the idea, because that's such a prevalent thing in the modeling industry, is that like that's what beauty is, and it's not. And there needs to be
some fucking Kendall Jenner type looking shit.
I'm gonna lose
my goddamn mind.
Like, because
and same thing for the Aphrodite demigods. Have a variety of
girls, like it's and guys. But
give me some hot guys in there.
Give me some hot guys in the Aphrodite cabinet. There's like one, right? There's like one they talk about.
Something like that. They don't really talk about Aphrodite. Too much,
or
like Aphrodite.
Because they're kind of like the dits.
Yeah, and they do. But I would like. Well, actually, no. That's more in Heroes of Olympus where they go into.
But she's badass.
She's fucking
so
badass.
Piper, queen. But there needs to be, and I think again with Rick being involved, the whole Trojan horse meme. Like, I think he's really gonna be like, okay, pause.
But have you considered?
But like with Disney being involved, the CGI, we're gonna get all the beauty. I watched the first couple episodes of The Mandalorian, but I never finished the series. But just seeing, honestly, they got the fucking budget, they got the money. Like, I'm about to put $10 million on this bitch.
And I was reading this thing about how Disney, and again, this wasn't really backed by any sources, but how Disney is thinking that like this can be the new, like, I mean, they tried to have it as the new Harry Potter before. Well, that wasn't Disney before. Who did that?
No, that was I want to say Universal.
Oh, yeah. So, like, they tried to do it, but, like, obviously didn't succeed. But, like, now, like, they're trying to make it, like, the new wave Harry Potter and trying to create, like, a whole, like, the whole world surrounding it, like they did with Harry Potter. And you're saying about the theme park?
Oh, yes. If we could finally get a fucking theme park.
Dude,
I know Rick has tried to do that. He's had, like, a little Half-Blood thing. Yeah. But it's like, if you were lucky, you got in, blah, blah, blah. And I felt too old at that point because I saw a lot of younger kids were doing it.
I'll let y'all have your fun.
But if we could get a theme park, like a fucking Harry Potter
and again, the map is laid out.
It is laid out. Imagine they give you a map. It's okay. I'm not going to go there. But when we will finally get merch. You won't have to make your own Camp Half-Blood t-shirt. I can wear it, and it will be okay. It won't be criticized.
I remember having it was like a neon fucking bright orange like cap that I wrote like Camp Half-Blood on, and like I would wear that shit and like I mean like clearly like it was in a crudely drawn like Sharpie, like it didn't even look right. But I was like, this is all I have.
But it's gonna be cool now to wear it. Y'all be honest. You see some kids who like they're our age now and they're still wearing the Camp Half-Blood shirt that they made when they were younger, and you're like, respect, very bold. Couldn't be me. But now it's cool, and we've been on this.
I've been on this shit for years. I never fell off, never for one day.
Every person who's noticed my tattoo, I'm like, you're a nerd too.
Yeah.
You know what it means.
Yeah, I can't hide from it now. Yeah.
Any other fan cast? Anything? We want to see more POC and black characters for fucking sure.
Essentially that.
Like, if they can make the whole main cast that will be everything.
Yeah. I can't have anyone, or I don't have anyone like specifically in mind that like that I've been thinking of.
I gave my Viola Davis vouch and like make her Medusa. I can't stress that shit enough. I want her as Medusa.
That would be amazing. I think not so much as like fan cast, but like I guess the way that it's like filmed, we kind of talked about how like Percy like addressing the camera and like kind of breaking the fourth wall, because he does that a lot in the books.
Yeah, it would be kind of funny, like, if y'all remember Emperor's New Groove, remember how he would like stop it and then would like that would be funny if that happened.
Yeah, I think that would that. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to like not get my hopes up.
Yeah.
But I do, like, I don't know, I just have like a good feeling with how involved or how excited Rick is seeming, like just with his involvement and like him just like posting about it, and then everyone's like,
I love seeing the shit.
It's just I'm excited. It's bringing me back. It's just getting,
it's those good vibes. It makes you energized about life, and I think the cool thing about this series and the way it makes me feel is like, you know, like when you start to feel kind of, and now that we're adults and shit, you know, like when you start to feel kind of burnt out and run down by life, it kind of gives that like life is magical and it's mystical, whether or not you believe this stuff really exists or not, or like whatever you think. Like,
there's also just some really important life lessons that like whether you're fighting like Greek monsters or not, like this is an important thing to like learn and take away from it. Like remember that like your parents aren't perfect, and then you always have your friends.
Exactly. So I noticed my camera battery is dying, so let's wrap this shit up.
We're pretty much,
it's probably so.
Yeah, we're right on time. Yeah. Right on time, wrapping it up.
So, you know, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I'm going to throw that out there. If you guys ever need a director or a showrunner for this shit, or if you want to make
you said you'll take Heroes of Olympus.
Yeah, if y'all want that, I think book 1 and 2 should be just season 1. Just throw that shit together. That's my pitch.
Yeah.
If y'all want me, need a showrunner, a writer's room, a director, I'm here for y'all. Anyways, follow us on Instagram.
I'm sure, especially on Twitter, we've been, we'll post it, we'll link that in a second. But on Twitter, I mean, I've been retweeting the shit out of all this stuff.
I am now a stan account.
Oh, completely converted. I don't care if I lose, I don't give a shit. This is what I'm posting. I'm excited.
What I care about. I waited 10 years for this.
Percy Jackson has entered the chat. Like
literally, cultural reset now.
Right? So follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, real quick. I don't know how long.
Right, I am at Stevie Kick. Yeah, I'm at Stevie Kick on Twitter, and then Instagram, I am Stevie.Kicks with 2 S's.
Instagram at cult.francis, Twitter cult.francis. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to our rant. We'll probably talk about this shit again. We will talk about as updates continue. Tune in this Friday. I'm going to start baking. I cannot bake, but I'm going to tell you Greek mythology. So if you're just getting into this, you're already into this, or you need to know more, here you go. It'll be on our YouTube channel, posting like videos on Fridays. Exactly. I'm going to start with Oedipus Rex, and I'm going to make lemon bars. So fun. Tune in this Friday. Fun shit, yeah. All right, cool. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all the support. And yeah, bye. Bye.